Okay, second video of the day. In a long time since I've made videos, been pretty busy. Yes, this is chapstick. Hi guys. Now, one of the things we do on this channel is teach Japanese in a little bit more of an interesting way. I teach some stuff that's easy, some stuff's difficult. A lot of it is in reaction or using news clips as source material. So today we're going to do a bit of a news roundup, talk about a few things that have been happening in Japan, and pick up a little Japanese. If you're interested in Japanese, great. If you're not, you'll still find the news stories interesting. The first story I'm going to blah 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 on is about a baseball player named Valentin. The Japanese to pick up quickly is Valentin Senshu, that means athlete, and Taiho, which means arrested. So Valentin Senshu arrested, Taiho. Valentin Senshu Taiho. He was arrested, and this is especially interesting because I've got to go way back into my memory. Like 23 years ago when I first came to Japan, I read a book. Don't recall the name of the book. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. And Japan has had a reputation in the past for being very xenophobic, well, generally speaking, and especially in the baseball world. So Japan has a very healthy baseball league. And of course, if you are in America, you know, because America often lures these baseball players to America. Anyway, one of the problems, one of the reasons I say xenophobic is because Sadaharu Oh, who held the home run record here in Japan forever, his record was broken last year by this guy Valentino, or Valentin, I think his name is. His name in English is actually different. It's like Valentin, but in Japanese it's Valentin. Anyway, so which is a big deal because a few foreign players have have tied his record or gone right up to the edge, right up to the line, right up to the record, and we're about to break the record, but because they were foreigners, it's pretty much clear, it's pretty much undisputed that the pitchers would walk the baseball players or do something or pretty much prevent them from making the hit, making the home run, swinging and breaking the record, because they didn't want a foreigner to break the record. Now, the other interesting thing about this is I'm pretty sure Sadaharu Oh, the record holder until this past year, is actually Korean. But anyway, well, Korean born. I'm pretty sure the nationality is now Japanese, which is ironic. So that the Japanese would be so, in the past, were so protective of this record, the home run record, right? I believe it was 55 home runs. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But this guy Valentin, he broke the record, and the way we say that is 60. Well, he broke it with 60 home runs. So the way we say that is 60 honrui da. Honrui da means hits. Da is hit, right? Honrui is home run. So honrui da otoko. So he is literally the man who has hit 60 home runs. And he was arrested recently for domestic violence. He played for the Yakult Swallows in Tokyo. I'm not really a baseball fan or follower. I don't follow it anymore. I did when I was younger. Who cares, right? But it was a big deal. And now he's back in the States. I believe it was in Florida where it happened. He crawled. This is why he was arrested. Why was he arrested? Right? He crawled in. I'm sure you know. He crawled into his. Why would you be watching this for the news? He crawled into his wife's house, and she wouldn't let him in. He went over there. She wouldn't let him in. So he crawled into one of the windows was open. He crawled in. Then he grabbed her and threw her into the room with his son. And the police arrested him for kankin, which is holding someone captive against their will. Not exactly the same as kidnapping, but anyway, you get the idea. So that's news number one. I hope you pick up some Japanese from there. Okay, news number two, which is a very funny one. There's a monkey park. I forget where. Oh, by the way, all of these will be linked in videos in the description to the original video. So there's a monkey park somewhere in Japan. I forget where. But here's the interesting thing. The head monkey, his name is Benz, like Mercedes-Benz. He went missing like last month, right? So they've searched for him 4 times, but he is yukue fume ni natta, which is the way we say he's missing. It's difficult for me to switch from Japanese to English. We're doing these lessons because the accent's different, but let me try it. Yukue fume means missing. His whereabouts are unknown. Ninata, he became. So yukue fume ninata is the situation of the boss monkey named Benz. So they've looked at him 4 times and they can't find him. So they've decided that if they cannot find him by January 26th, they're going to have a wakarekai. Wakarekai. Wakarekai is a sayonara or farewell party, which I think is hilarious. And they're on February 2nd, they're going to inaugurate the new boss, who's been second in command until now, and they're going to have a boss shunin shiki. Now, shunin is the inauguration, and shiki is ceremony. So they're going to have a shunin shiki ceremony for the new boss, monkey. Okay. Anyway, that's the second story. Okay. Again, links in the description. Third story. I mean, this is all in Japanese, so I made myself notes. Okay. A young woman, 40. I think she's 47, 41. She disappeared. Oh no, she was killed. She was killed. Yes, and one of the quotes in the lesson said, in the news article, in the news video, said, "Kaisha ni tsutomeru ippo inshokuten de arubaito." Now, let me translate that. That said, while she was working at a company, she was also working part-time at a inshokuten, which is probably a bar, maybe a hostess club, maybe an izakaya. It's hard to tell from this. Probably, it could be just an izakaya, which is like a Japanese pub. But what caught my eye was the word ippo, which means, which we are taught in Japanese school, on the other hand, ippo, on the other hand. But in this case, it's used more like at the same time or while. Right? So this is what happened. The woman she had trouble. She was having troubles with guys, and she was sodan. She was talking with her friends and family about her friends at the pub about these boy problems she was having, and then she ends up murdered. So again, rejected guy kills girl. Sad story. But the other thing that I thought was interesting was the police said they were looking into whether or not there was any trouble concerned to boys. So that was the center, their chushin, the center of their investigation. And they used this expression, "Trouble no umu." So u is have, exist, and mu means not exist. So literally, exist or not, right? Is there or not? And the kanji was interesting to me because, it's kind of a, what, is it there or isn't it there? So they're, anyway, kind of an interesting lesson. Trouble no umu. Of course, she's dead. Sorry about, I hate talking about, I hate using lessons about people who die in video because I feel like, well, you know what I'm saying. It feels kind of dirty, but you got to learn. This is how we learn. The next story, kind of interesting. To anyone who drinks whiskey like I do, you'll often see me with a glass of whiskey. I make videos on this channel called, I call them now laundry videos because you don't really have to watch them. Just fold your laundry while you listen to me babble. And some people, for some bizarre reason, enjoy that, especially when they're long. This one will not be that long. Anyway, the story is Suntory Whiskey, which is a family-owned business, has bought Jim Beam. Now, Suntory until now has been 10th in the world among distilled alcohol producers or makers. And Jim Beam has been number 4. But now with their combined strength, they have Odorideru jumped to 3rd place in the world. So they're now the 3rd biggest because what happened was Suntory has bought Jim Beam for $16 billion. That's a lot of money. Does Bill Gates have that much money? I forget. How much does the richest man in the world have? Somebody Google it and put it in the description. Anyway, how do you say distilled alcohol in Japanese? Joryushu. Joryushu is distilled alcohol. And the word I found interesting was the use of jump. The kanji in jump is dance and out. Literally dance out. Odori, odoru, and deru, come out. So odori deru means jump. So that's the next story. Anyway, is that good news or bad news? I saw on Twitter someone wrote that Suntory bought Jim Beam because apparently it's still 1989. Because remember back in the day, everyone was always like, oh no, Japan is buying this and that. There was a time when actually, I don't know if you guys remember this, Japan bought, or somebody in Japan, I forget who, bought the Rockefeller Center. And people were like, oh my God, Japan is just buying up America because they're doing so well. This was, of course, during the bubble. But I remember there was a Time article magazine that put out an article saying that Japan owned less than 1% of all of America. I think less than 0.5% or something. So don't worry. It doesn't mean, America's getting bought up by the Japanese. Everybody calm down, Maybe that Baptist church, maybe they can protest. Westboro Baptist Church, that's it. Okay, anyway. Next story is about a guy who was caught, and he had hidden 2 guns in his car. And I want to teach you a very, very easy lesson there. Anyway, of course, you cannot have guns in Japan. It's almost impossible. There are apparently 700,000 guns registered. I'm pretty sure that's right. And this country has 127 million people. But most of the guns are legal. Those are registered guns, of course. And they're owned by people who like live where there's bears and stuff, or they go hunting. So if you, and the laws to actually own a gun are very strict. You have to keep your gun over here somewhere in the house, and your ammunition in a safe, and they've got to be separate, and you've actually got to draw a diagram and hand it in to the police, and they'll sometimes come to your house and check. We want to make sure that the ammunition is where you said it would be. So it's really like, you know, the camera cut me off there. I hope this is filming correctly. Okay, so yes, so Japan is kind of like a big brother when it comes to guns. But anyway, one more time, the words to focus here are kenju, which is pistol, and koke, which is caliber. Okay, next story is about the ex-prime minister of Japan, Hosokawa, who is now running, has decided to run for the governor of Tokyo. He wants to be the big boss in Tokyo, which is interesting because you don't really see American presidents doing stuff like that. Like, okay, I'm president. I was president. Now I want to be the governor of Arkansas or anything. You know, Bill Clinton didn't do that. But anyway, the interesting thing was this guy was prime minister 20 years ago, and he was dashing. He's a rich, of course all these guys are rich. He was extremely rich and dashing and thin and had black hair. Now he looks like an old homeless guy. His hair is all white and it looks kind of crazy. But he's being supported by Koizumi. And Koizumi is Japan's most popular ex-prime minister, also an ex-prime minister, of course. And I said that, I'm sorry, being redundant. Anyway, trying to get out of here. So, why is this important? Because they are both anti-nuclear power plants. And they are opposing Japan's biggest monster political machine, the Jiminto, or the Liberal Democratic Party. So it should be interesting, an interesting showdown in the next few weeks to see, if he will win. Because Koizumi, I mean, that's a very popular prime minister, and so for him to throw his weight behind Hosokawa, that's pretty good. That's like, wow, is it help when Clinton helped Obama? I don't know. But anyway, it's a big deal. The other interesting thing about Koizumi is that he was Japan's most popular prime minister ever, and maybe even ex-prime minister. But when he was prime minister, he had the highest approval rating. And he is also one of the few prime ministers that openly visited Yasukuni, which pissed off China and South Korea to no end. Yasukuni is a shrine that honors all the war dead of Japan, including some people that were deemed war criminals, which I think is kind of ridiculous because they're only war criminals because they lost. If Japan had won, I'm sure then America would have war criminals. So it's kind of a really subjective label that they put there. And they're guys who serve their country. And maybe some of them a little bit too enthusiastically, whatever. Anyway, here's the point, whether you agree with me or not on that point. Koizumi visited Yasukuni, this shrine where all these, the remains of these soldiers are interred, and it pissed off a lot of people, but he was very popular despite this. And they are both against nuclear power, so for those of you who are interested in the anti-nuclear power agenda, well, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. There are a lot of people in Japan who are really against nuclear power. The Jiminto, though, the big powerhouse political party, is against these two now. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Last story is kind of a good, happy ending, horrible story. You'll see what I mean. Little girl walking her dog, 11 years old, 5th grade, walking her dog a few days ago, maybe yesterday, very recently. Was walking her dog just in her neighborhood, as she does almost every day, and usually she comes back, but this time she didn't come back, and this time only the dog came back, and the dog came back dragging its own leash, which is, wow, that's terrible, oh my god. So they put up signs everywhere, she's missing, they look for her everywhere, she's called, they can't find her. She walks into a police station today. She's alive, she's safe, which is great, right? Oh, I forgot. Go back to the Koizumi article. The Japanese lesson in that lesson was very simple. Moto. Moto Sori Daijin, or Moto Sori, which is the way that we say, Moto is the way we say ex or previous. And you can also use it for ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Anyway, Moto is the word I want you to remember. Back to the girl story. So the girl walks into the police station today, she's safe, which is great, but she doesn't remember anything. So we don't know what happened to her. Was she kidnapped? Was she, you know, did unspeakable things happen to her? Of course, I hope not. I hope, you know, I hope she just, I don't know, maybe she just had some kind of fit or seizure and she got on a bus and who knows? I don't know what happened. It's a horrible story in that, you know, maybe horrible things happened to her, but if she can't remember, maybe that's for the best. Or perhaps aliens, you know, took her around the world and then gave her one of those MIB, you know, mind zappers and erased her memory, which I hope did happen or whatever. Anyway, kind of a good story. But wow, it was, when I heard the story, I was like, oh my God, that's terrible, because, you know, her little dog just walked back. I don't know what kind of dog it was. You know, probably wasn't a pit bull or anything big, because it would have protected her, right? Like, what's wrong with you, dog? Psh! You know, protect your girl, protect your master. But yeah, as a dog owner myself, is it strange to say more concerned than I would have been? Yeah, with just, you know, this image, the image of the little, I imagine a Chihuahua walking back to the house alone. And the, you know, the parents are like, oh my God, you know, where's you know, little Susie, well, whatever her name is. I'm sure it wasn't Susie. You know, so, but maybe all's well that ends well. And maybe this maybe she was in. Maybe the mafia threatened her life. Who knows? I don't know. Trying to make connection to previous pretty lame attempt. Sorry about that. Anyway, this is the kind of videos I do. Try to introduce some Japanese vocabulary to those of you who are interested in Japan, and at the same time bring you up to date on some Japanese news. I usually do one story at a time, but since I haven't done this in a while, I thought I would give you a kind of news roundup. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy it, give me the ratings. Like the video. You know what you do. If you're an old follower, you know what that means. If not, you're new. You'll get in on the inside joke soon enough. Anyway, that's it for today. I've got notes in the description and notes here. Please study hard. And thanks for watching, guys. If you don't know, my name is Victor. I make these kind of lessons. I comment and talk out of my butt, giving my opinion about Japan any chance I get, which is sometimes not that often because I'm pretty busy with work. However, I'm happy to make these, and I learn a lot by making these as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Gimmeabreakman. Also got a response channel called Gimmeaflakeman. Hope to see you soon. Study hard, guys.